What is up, guys? Welcome on back to TK's Garage. And we're literally in a premiere right now. But, we talked about what was going on with China in terms of them making comments about the Panama Canal and what they might do or what they may not do. And then this happened.
Secretary and the Secretary of the Treasury.
The president's latest statement regarding his America First trade plan. As you all know, the president just put out a statement announcing an additional tariff on China. The tariff on China will now go up to 125% because China imprudently decided to retaliate against the United States. And as I said at the podium yesterday, when you punch at the United States of America, President Trump is going to punch back harder. In that same vein, we have had more than 75 countries from around the world reach out to President Trump and his team here at the White House to negotiate better trade deals for the American worker.
So as you can see, the market is on probably the biggest rally in recent history. I think the last time we saw like a massive rally like this is when they were announcing the vaccines for COVID. But yeah, I think the market is very close to having to pause because they're about to be 7% up at a time. And they have volatility pauses. And it's crazy because the market's about to close here in about 45 minutes. But, yes, this video is still premiering, but this is absolutely huge news. We're going to talk about it because Trump just told China to bend over and grab their ankles. So what is up, guys? Welcome on back to TK's Garage. And if you're seeing your portfolio today, and if you listen to some of the stuff that we talked about yesterday, day before that, about just hold, don't sell, you're happy right now. You're logging into your brokerage accounts and seeing massive spikes where you might have some of the biggest days you've had. Now, granted, you're just gaining back the money that you had previously lost from these other announcements, but you stood firm, and now you're going to exceed where you were. If you were one of these panicking, or as the president calls them, panicins, your net worth is down 10, 15, 20 grand because you panicked and you cashed out. And when you do that, it's never a win. But needless to say, Caroline Leavitt literally in the last 10 minutes just got done with a press conference outside. I'm going to run a short clip of that. And we're going to the business side. I got to look at it because you could just watch it as they're talking as the market just skyrockets up. So without further ado, let me roll this clip.
As these negotiations are ongoing, and the tariff level will be brought down to a universal 10% tariff. The secretary here has been a huge part of the president's trade team, of course, and will continue to lead these negotiations moving forward to look out for the American worker, which is always President Trump's goal. So I'll kick it over to our great Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent.
Good, thank you. And we saw the successful negotiating strategy that President Trump implemented a week ago today. It has brought more than 75 countries forward to negotiate. It took great courage for him to stay the course until this moment. And what we have ended up with here, as I told everyone a week ago, they are in this very spot, do not retaliate and you will be rewarded. So every country in the world who wants to come and negotiate, we are willing to hear you. We're going to go down to a 10% baseline tariff for them, and China will be raised to 125 due to their insistence on escalation.
Secretary, thank you for doing this. Let me ask you three quick things, if I could, just for the sake of clarity, because the markets are open and they're wondering. First of all, Mexico and China, are they part of this 10% universal?
Well, China, no, China.
Mexico and Canada, are they part of the 10%?
Yes.
Okay. Second, given then that you have the rest of the world essentially calling it, it's not China, is this now just all about China?
Well, it's about bad actors. And what we will see is some of the very early countries are China's neighbors. That we're going to see. I'm seeing Vietnam today. Japan's at the front of the queue. South Korea, India. So we will see. And as I've repeatedly said, and President Trump has been saying it for years, China is the most imbalanced economy in the history of the modern world, and they are the biggest source of the U.S. trade problems. And indeed, they are problems for the rest of the world, because what we've seen is that as the U.S. announced a tariff wall last week, many of those goods have already started flooding into Europe.
So as you see.
So what does this mean for China? Well, China literally heard Debo riding down the street on his bicycle, squeaky wheels and all. This is what China's doing right now. They're stressing. Because not 104. Remember, I was like, it's going to be between 104 to 107%. Nah. Effective at 12:01 a.m. this evening, China will be paying 125% on everything coming into the country. We interrupt the savagery that's going on in this video to give you your Mandarin lesson of the day. China has effectively been told to go eat a dick. And how you say that in Mandarin is Shijiba. 125%. Might as well turn around those cargo ships. And it's crazy because you have a bunch of ships that are like midway in transit. They're not paying 125% tariff. They'll turn them. They got to turn them suckers around because there's no win here. No win. China can't win here. They either have to make a deal or lose. Now, there's multiple ways they could lose. They could try to get into a conflict with the United States, and we just don't pay their debt, or the money that we owe them. They could try to hold out and do massive economic damage. Xi will probably be overthrown or pushed aside for somebody else, and then they'll make a deal. Or Xi Jinping is going to go, we need to fix this now, and try to do something where he's able to save face. And it's probably going to be a deal that includes TikTok. That's why I think he's paused another 75 days on TikTok to turn it over into American hands. I don't know, man. It looks like the president is playing chess, and a lot of these other bums are playing checkers. And here's the thing. There's still tariffs. That's why I told you it's all speculative. It's why the market, it's all speculative. People just freak out for no friggin' reason, right? It's speculative. Because this is a 90-day pause on tariffs. He's still, and you'll see in the business clip as they're trying to figure this out, he's still instituting a 10% tariff on every, 10%, flat tariff on everybody that didn't retaliate out of those 70 countries that called. The other countries that said that they were going to retaliate, oh, I can't wait for that list. You guys are, say it with me, hold this L. You just bankrupted your countries. Well, it is great news to see it. But without further ado, let's get to Kudlow and the gang so you can see the excitement as it breaks right here.
All right, we're going to come back and hit you with some tariff updates because news is breaking. The first one I know of is Trump has just said, effective immediately, the tariffs on China move from 104%. Larry, I think he's trying to make you happy, up to 125%. So let's talk about that. Do we have the other? Okay, we got another one too. I'm just going to keep giving them to you.
Yeah, here's the whole.
And Dagan, I'm going to turn over to you.
No, you go, because there's even bigger news.
He's authorized a 90-day pause on tariffs that applies to reciprocal and the 10% tariff, a 90-day pause effective immediately. Look at the straight shoot-up line on your screen.
Yes.
Markets desperate for this news, they got it.
For all countries?
I have authorized a 90-day pause and a substantially lowered reciprocal tariff during this period of 10% also effective immediately. You want me to read it, Larry?
Yes, please.
So 125% tariff on China because we crush you. How about that? Those were my words.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm getting down to no monetary. These countries.
5.5%.
Is the pause for all countries?
At my suggestion, it just says I have authorized a 90-day pause and a substantially lowered reciprocal tariff during this period of 10%.
Right.
Effective immediately.
These, as I said, these tariffs, by the way, are unsustainable anyway. So this is a reality check, but this is very, very good. How's the market must be doing?
It's on a tear.
Yeah,
so the Dow is up 3.5%. The Nasdaq is up 4.9%. The S&P 500 is up 4%. The Russell 2000 is up 3.6%. The Nasdaq 100 5.3%. VIX falls to 40. Traders pare back all of their bets on Fed rate cuts.
It's the
90-day pause.
On 70, the other. Based on the fact that more than 75 countries have called, the trade rep, commerce, treasury, and to negotiate a solution to the subjects being discussed relative to all the trade and trade barriers, non-tariff. These countries have not, at my strong suggestion, retaliated in any way, shape, or form against the United States to those 75 countries.
Oh, fabulous.
That's the way it sounds. I have authorized a 90-day pause.
He's giving them a 90-day pause.
So,
That's the way it reads.
And then he just ratcheted up China, so you got to imagine China's not on that list.
Right.
So
I would. This is so good because 70 countries coming in, you're going to make deals, but it's going to take time, resources, okay? So he's pausing the whole process in order to make a deal. This is so good. And he's lowering these reciprocal tariff charges, which were way too high to begin with because they were based on trade deficits and made no sense whatsoever. So this is like a home run. This is, if I may, this is common sense Donald Trump.
And the market.
Common sense businessman Donald Trump.
The market rallied on this rumor, mistakenly reported on Monday, the same way it's rallying now. But on Sunday night, traders were telling me that that's what the market wanted. This was. You couldn't have given them a bigger gift.
This is phenomenal.
I have a serious question,
phenomenal.
Larry.
This is off the charts good. This is the most brilliant thing. He's such a realist. He's got, if I was in the Oval 100 times over 3 years, every time I was in, he'd ask me, what's the market doing?
Yeah.
The market said, no, you got them too much, too soon, too fast, etc. So he listened, and he's getting advice from a lot of people, not going to name any names, about how to play this card. And he's got Bessent in charge of deals, and it'll all take. This is just wonderful. This is Trump at his best.
So 90-day pause, and then the reciprocal tariffs go down to 10% for these 75 nations that have not retaliated against the United States. But I wrote this down on my little folder that you said this. This was weeks and weeks ago. And I would bet you, and you can tell me I'm crazy, that POTUS and Scott Bessent like to watch the 10-year Treasury and the 10-year rate, the yield.
Yields are holding steady.
I wonder, given what happened with the 10-year yield and the 30-year, the long bond overnight, if that wasn't at least some impetus to, again, this is a door opening. This is a way forward for the United States and our trading partners who we stand strong with.
This is good management
Yes.
of policy. This is good execution of policy. It shows his flexibility. It shows his common sense. He's adapting to the reality, okay? Look, you had stock market vigilantes. You had bond market vigilantes saying, with this tariff thing, it's way too big, way too soon, way too far, okay?
Yeah.
He is right. I will back him on the crusade or the policy goal of stopping the unfair trading practices that have existed now for decades. He is correct. His idea of reciprocity, which should lead to freer trade and lower tariffs over time, is exactly correct. It's just terrific stuff.
Dow's up almost 6%.
Now he's adjusting, right? I mean, this is so
well,
joyful.
Well, we have a good problem because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, we always talk about halting trading for 15 minutes when you hit a limit down of 7%. I believe that also applies to the upside of 7%. We're not there yet, but you have an S&P up 6.7%.
And what would the?
I thought the first limit up is 7, and then 13, and then 20. I know that to the downside. I think it also applies to the upside. We'll see. The S&P 500 right now is up 7%.
Okay, so
the Nasdaq is up 8.7% on the day.
You're out jockeying my bid to cover.
I know. See?
If you have the.
If you're out walking daily and you're not seeing the results, it's really pretty simple. You just start walking enough.
Upper bounds. If you have the upper bounds for the interventions, that's even better than bid to cover.
There are no circuit breakers on the upside.
On the upside, good.
There are no circuit breakers
so let
on
her
the
rip.
downside.
Just let her rip.
Wow. Wow.
Okay, so Larry, I'm trying to interpret what's happening here. This is a huge policy change relative to what we were hearing like 5 days ago.
Not a policy.
Let me finish, okay?
All right.
I gotta ask a question.
He did it. I didn't. I'm not the one. Thank Jesus.
So my
The
point
Nasdaq's
is,
up 9%.
Larry, my point is, we've been hinting at this. This to me looks like confirmation of a sea change in terms of who has priority in the White House on advising on the path forward with tariffs and taxes and policy, Larry. Am I directionally correct on that?
Yes. I wouldn't, however, and I didn't mean to interrupt, honestly.
Happens all the time.
Look, Jackie told me to pipe down the other
I'm
time.
sorry.
I was fine with it. No, it's okay. You got to whip me in the
kidding.
shade. I love this group, everyone on this table. So look, the policy remains the same. What's changing is the execution of the policy. Okay, that's how I would interpret that. Now, your point about bond.
No, my point, I'm saying Bessent is driving.
Yeah.
He's got the wheel, and the other guys are in the back seat at best.
Bessent is,
putting it mildly.
One of Bessent's terrific value adds, okay, is his knowledge of markets and market strategies and market developments, okay? He's the link to the markets, as a good Treasury Secretary should be. Incidentally, we had Steve Mnuchin in Treasury. It was the same thing. I had because of my background, but it's what a good Treasury Secretary should do.
Right.
And he's reporting to Trump. Here's the thing. A news report Sunday, over the weekend, Scott Bessent flew down to Florida in order to get on Air Force One and come back to Washington with Trump. And they had a conversation about the markets and, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, all right? And so what happens subsequently after this plane ride, right? Bessent is put in charge of the deal making, and now this is earth-shaking news. The 90-day pause, is that what it is?
Yes.
Can I ask you a question on that 90-day
This has Bessent written
pause?
all over it. Yes, please.
So, and correct me if I'm wrong, some part of me wonders if a 90-day pause, I think it is good. Clearly the market's responding. But if I'm a business leader, I'm now trying to figure out not what I'm doing today, but now what my world looks like 90 days from now. Does that not delay some of the uncertainty, or is this confirmation that we can get deals done in 90 days? Was it Jamie Dimon or Scott Bessent was one that says these are 1,000 pages. We need months to get these deals done. If I'm a business leader and I'm trying to figure out if I'm hiring, firing, building or not, spending CapEx or not, what do I now do for the next 90 days?
Well, that's a super good question. I would look at it this way. Business people have to seize opportunities in whatever markets they're operating. So they're going to make a bet. I think some people might bet on a retreat. Other people said, no, wait a second. They're pausing to make deals, to make this much more manageable.
Right.
Most people believe that we should fight back on unfair trading practices. It's just that this was too much, okay? Wow. Now this is being pared down.
But this got them to the table.
Well, yes, it did, as a matter of fact. Yes, that's important. Part of Trump's negotiating skills. Bash him and then bring him to the table. That's what you do in the real estate business in New York. You kick him in the teeth.
So as you can see, the market has completely turned around. Do we have enough time in the day for the market to get back all of the gains that they lost over the last week? Probably not. We'll probably still close down 1,500 points or something from where before any of this started. But watch the futures markets, because I can tell you right now, as these futures markets hit, oh my God, it's like tomorrow is going to be, look, even stocks that suck ass, and I mean Stellantis, has seen the biggest jump in their stock without announcing a Hemi anything in over a year. They went from $8 to $10, all right? They got a 16% jump today. When you have scumbag stocks, I mean stocks that have that magical hidden disease, or that Magic Johnson, all right? You have stocks that are terminally ill, okay? And they jump 16%. What? That's how good the market is today. Because I laughed. I saw yesterday when the market closed down, and I did the video earlier in the day, and they were like, oh, I saw the comments. It's just a dead cat bounce. It's just a dead cat bounce. What is this today then? Is this the market's mom grabbing their ankles? Dad came home, clapped them cheeks? I don't know. You got to tell me what it is. Is it a dead tiger bounce? Is it an elephant bounce? Come on, man. Again, chess, checker. Some of these, I don't even know if they know what they're playing. It'd be chess, and they could be playing Uno over there. We don't know what they're doing. I love why this happened. There were people testifying on Capitol Hill, and you could see the Dems in hearings looking at their phones. And I'm going to get a video of this because I know it's going to go viral, and it's going to be funny. You literally saw these people looking at their phones, and they were like salivating to just talk crap to whoever it was that was in front of them. And then they see the market jump 1,000 points in 3 minutes, and their faces just went like this. We call that the shit sandwich face. They came into Congress and just started handing out shit sandwiches. Yes. So here's what this means. It means that we're probably going to get, tax cuts. We're probably also going to get the emission stuff done, whether it's the CRAs or some of those bills attached into that budget reconciliation bill. But how do you feel about it? I'm excited. I am so optimistic about what's going to happen on Monday now, or the rest of the week, that it will be interesting to see. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Give the video a big thumbs up if you like what I do. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And as always, stay petty, my friends.